Thank you for your time. Each subscription is a sign of support that I truly appreciate.
A jagged border splits families, neighbor from neighbor. Midnight, June 19th, 1863. Tomorrow, a state emerges from war's crucible. This creation carries one troubling question. Can the Union shatter its own constitution to save itself from destruction? Francis Pierpont stands at his wheeling window, sleepless. He has orchestrated something unprecedented, one state carved from another during Civil War. History will judge whether he's patriot or constitutional criminal. Dawn approaches. The moment of transformation arrives. His hands tremble. You've heard of states joining the Union peacefully, but what happens when a state must be torn from rebellion itself? West Virginia's birth isn't about triumph. It's about impossible choices made when the nation teeters on permanent fracture's edge. 1859. Western Virginia's mountains have always isolated them from Richmond's plantation aristocracy. Here, small farms dominate the landscape. Few men own slaves. They work coal, timber, not tobacco. When Eastern politicians speak of secession, Westerners hear only madness. I'm Jonathan Bennett. I farm near Clarksburg. My hands know soil, not human bondage. When my brother writes from Richmond about defending Southern honor, I throw his letter into my fireplace. What honor? They've never honored us mountain folk. The Virginia Secession Convention meets April 1861. Western delegates vote overwhelmingly against leaving the Union. They're outnumbered by Eastern aristocrats. Virginia will secede. The Western representatives return home, knowing their people will never accept Richmond's treason. Picture your home state splitting in two overnight. Your governor suddenly your enemy, your laws nullified. This became Western Virginia's reality in spring 1861. They faced one choice: submit to Richmond's rebellion or forge their own government. John Carlyle, a Clarksburg lawyer, rises at the first Wheeling Convention. May 1861. Virginia abandoned us, he thunders. We haven't abandoned Virginia. We are the true Virginia now. His words electrify the crowded room. Something revolutionary ignites. The restored government of Virginia forms in Wheeling. They claim legitimacy, the Virginia that never seceded. It's legal fiction, but necessary. Francis Pierpont becomes governor of this phantom state. His authority extends only where Union bayonets reach the ground. Here's where the Constitution bends, until it nearly breaks. No state can be carved from another without consent, but Richmond would never agree. So Pierpont's government consents to itself, a serpent swallowing its tail. The architects know exactly what they're doing. Senator Waitman Willie walks Congress's halls, making his case. Is this legal? Senators demand. Willie answers carefully. What remains legal when rebellion tears the Constitution apart? We must interpret law through survival's harsh lens. His argument convinces some, troubles others. Watch the Constitution strain under unprecedented pressure. Does supreme law break when tested by civil war? Or does it flex, adapting to circumstances its framers never imagined? Senators debate through long winter nights. Constitutional purity confronts national survival. Which prevails? Charles Sumner, the Massachusetts abolitionist, opposes West Virginia's admission. Not from sympathy for the South, he despises slavery, but he fears dangerous precedent. If we break the Constitution fighting rebellion, he warns, what prevents future presidents breaking it for other emergencies? Debates rage through winter, 1862 into 63. Meanwhile, Western Virginia men fight wearing blue. They bleed at Antietam, Fredericksburg. They die defending a union that hasn't recognized their homeland as a state. Their sacrifice demands acknowledgement now. Lincoln faces his own conscience crisis. He's already suspended habeas corpus, expanded executive power beyond recognition. Now Congress asks him to approve a state born from questionable legality. He writes to cabinet. Is it expedient? Not right, expedient. Another complication surfaces: slavery. Even in Western Virginia, some own human property. The proposed Constitution includes gradual emancipation. Slaves born after July 1863 will eventually gain freedom. It's compromise, not abolition. Congressional radicals find this insufficient. Senator Benjamin Wade demands stronger anti-slavery provisions. We're creating a state during a war against bondage, he thunders. Shall we permit any slavery in this child of our making? The bill stalls in committee. Days stretch. Men keep dying. A state born from opposing secession, yet still permitting human slavery. West Virginia enters as a border state, straddling both worlds. Neither purely north nor south. A hybrid existence reflecting a nation divided against itself completely. The contradiction burns like coal smoke.
If your birthday is this month, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, my friend. And tell me in the comments what topic you'd like to hear next.
The Willey Amendment resolves the impasse. All West Virginia slaves gain freedom by their 21st birthday if born before July 1863. Those born after receive immediate freedom. It's incremental emancipation, frustratingly gradual, but enough for congressional votes. December 31st, 1862. Lincoln signs the admission bill, but attaches a condition. West Virginia becomes a state only when citizens ratify new anti-slavery provisions. Another vote required, another delay. The dream of statehood hangs suspended through winter's coldest months. Sarah Thompson watches her two sons prepare to vote in Parkersburg. One supports statehood, one opposes it fiercely. We're still Virginians, the younger insists. The elder answers, not anymore. Richmond chose rebellion, we choose union. She cannot reconcile them. Family mirrors region. March 26, 1863. West Virginians vote to ratify the Constitution with anti-slavery amendments. The margin is substantial, but not overwhelming. Many vote against statehood, preferring to wait until war's end. Others resist anti-slavery provisions completely. Division persists. This vote meant everything to those who cast it. Farmers choosing between tradition and transformation. Communities fracturing along lines invisible before war. Every ballot represented a family's future, a neighbor's judgment, a lifetime of connections potentially severed forever now. Lincoln receives ratification results early April. He now faces the final decision alone. His cabinet divides sharply. Attorney General Bates argues the entire process violates the Constitution. Secretary Chase insists military necessity justifies everything. Lincoln sits with both opinions, weighing alternatives. April 20th, 1863. Lincoln issues the proclamation. West Virginia becomes a state. June 20th. He writes privately, "They call West Virginia's admission secession. Well, if so, there's still difference enough between secession against and secession favoring the Constitution." 2 months before transformation. Throughout Western Virginia, county officials scramble, preparing for the transition. New state offices, judicial appointments, law codes transferred. Clerks work by candlelight, copying documents. It's revolution through paperwork. Mundane administrative violence separating peoples. Arthur Borman will become first governor. He's a wheeling lawyer, cautious and methodical. Not a firebrand like Carlisle or visionary like Pierpont. Perhaps that's why they chose him. West Virginia needs stability now. Revolution has exhausted everyone. Governance's work begins. Confederate sympathizers in southern counties watch grimly. They oppose statehood at every turn, lost every vote. Now they choose, accept the new government or flee south. Families pack wagons under moonlight. Others swear silent resistance oaths. Peace remains distant. Becoming a stranger in your own home overnight. Your state's name changes. Your government operates from a different capital. Laws you never voted for now bind you completely. This happened to thousands in June 1863. Not everyone welcomed liberation. May passes into June. The war's great battles, Gettysburg, Vicksburg, still lie weeks ahead in an uncertain future. Nobody knows how this ends. In this context, West Virginia's admission carries symbolic weight beyond immediate military value. The Union grows while Confederacy can only shrink. June 20th, 1863, dawns over Wheeling. The city decorates for celebration. Flags hang from buildings. Artillery prepares salutes. Yet the mood feels curiously restrained. This isn't independence won through revolution. It's separation achieved through war's grim necessity alone. I'm Joseph Lightburn, Union General from Western Virginia. Today, my home becomes a state. I won't witness the ceremonies. I'm busy fighting near Vicksburg to preserve the Union that finally acknowledged our loyalty. The irony doesn't escape me at all. Something unprecedented in American history unfolds today. Not a state born from territorial expansion, not from Louisiana Purchase or Mexican War spoils. A state carved from rebellion's geography, created because the Constitution's framers never imagined civil war splitting their creation. Governor Pierpont of the restored government transfers power to Governor Borman of West Virginia. Two governments in one ceremony, a bizarre ritual, the legal fiction maintained until this final moment. Now, Pierpont governs only Virginia counties under Union control. His domain shrinks daily. Noon arrives. The proclamation takes effect. West Virginia exists officially, the 35th state. Its borders still contested in counties where Confederate guerrillas operate freely. Its legitimacy questioned by constitutional scholars nationwide. Its future uncertain in a war that might destroy everything. Elizabeth Mitchell stands at her Charleston window, watching celebrations. Her husband fights for the Confederacy, her brother for the Union. The new state boundary runs through her family's heart. She writes in her diary, "Today makes official what war already accomplished." Celebration in Wheeling continues through evening. Politicians make speeches about liberty and Union preservation. But in mountain hollows and river valleys, families mourn quietly. Not for statehood, for division itself. The joy feels forced, the triumph hollow. War casts long shadows. What was lost creating West Virginia? Families fractured permanently, communities torn apart, a common history of 2 centuries set aside. Yes, the Mountain West always felt distinct from Tidewater East. But distinction isn't separation. War forced this impossible choice. Some historians call West Virginia the only state created by civil war. That's not quite accurate. Nevada will achieve statehood next year, also driven by wartime politics. But West Virginia remains unique, the only state torn from another during rebellion, conflict's child. Evening artillery salutes echo across the Ohio River. 35 guns for 35 states. The Confederacy claims 11 of those states. Are they still counted? The mathematics of union become uncertain. Nothing remains fixed when civil war tears a nation. The new state government immediately faces crisis. Confederate cavalry raids counties along the Virginia border constantly. Local sympathizers provide intelligence, supplies, refuge. West Virginia's authorities cannot control their own territory. Union Army garrisons maintain order where statehood's authority fails. Governor Borman sends Washington a desperate telegram. "We possess statehood's name, but not its substance. Our people live under constant threat. Send soldiers, or admit this was theatrical fiction."
Thank you for your time. Each subscription is a sign of support that I truly appreciate.
Lincoln, already stretched thin, promises reinforcements. They arrive slowly. West. Virginia exists on paper, but its reality depends entirely on Union military success. If Lee wins decisive Eastern victories, Confederate armies might reclaim these mountains. Statehood could be reversed as quickly as granted. Nothing is certain except uncertainty itself. By autumn, Gettysburg and Vicksburg have shifted war's momentum decisively. West Virginia's permanence seems more assured now, but guerrilla warfare intensifies viciously. Neighbor kills neighbor, farms burn. Women hide children when riders approach, uncertain whether they're Union cavalry, Confederate raiders, or bandits. Reverend Gordon Battelle, who pushed for anti-slavery provisions in the Constitution, preaches to a sparse congregation in Ohio County. Many families have fled entirely. Others refuse attending church where politics from the pulpit divides them further. We created a state but forgot about community. After war's end, Virginia challenges West Virginia's legitimacy in court. They want Berkeley and Jefferson counties returned. They argue the restored government lacked authority to consent. The Supreme Court could unravel everything. Years pass while the case winds through legal arguments. West Virginia waits. Not until 1871 does the Supreme Court rule. In Virginia versus West Virginia, the justices vote 4-3, upholding the arrangement. But their reasoning reveals much. They don't claim the process was constitutional. They simply acknowledge the state exists now. Reality trumps law. The Supreme Court essentially admits the Constitution was bent, perhaps broken entirely. But too much time has passed now. Too many people call themselves West Virginians. Reality has overridden legal theory completely. Sometimes, facts create legitimacy, regardless of founding irregularities. Charles Sumner, who opposed statehood in 1863, lives to see the court's decision. He never recants his opposition publicly, but he acknowledges one truth. War shatters all precedent. We make new law from broken pieces. Whether that's wisdom or folly, time reveals. The precedent troubles later generations. If West Virginia could be carved from Virginia during war, what prevents other states from dividing? The answer? Nothing legal, only political will. The Constitution's guarantee of state integrity proves contingent, another certainty rendered uncertain. 1875. I'm Francis Pierpont now, reflecting on my role in all this. I live in West Virginia, my restored government long dissolved. Were we right? I ask a friend. The war is over. Virginia is whole again, except for what we took. Old Jonathan Bennett finally visits his brother in Richmond. 20 years since their bitter argument over a fireplace letter. They sit together on a porch, watching evening fall. The silence between them speaks louder than any words they might find. Virginia remains divided. Beneath the historical record of dates, battles, and constitutional debates lies another story. Severed relationships. Families who never reconcile. Communities that remain suspicious of each other for generations. West Virginia's birth delivered more than statehood. It delivered permanent estrangement. New arrivals flood into West Virginia after the war. Farmers from Pennsylvania, merchants from Ohio, miners seeking opportunity. They carry no memory of being Virginian. To them, the state seems as natural as any other. The founding controversy fades. A new generation builds different identities. Arthur Borman, the first governor, later serves in the United States Senate. From Washington, he watches the nation struggle. Reconstruction fails, labor wars erupt, economic panics devastate workers. The constitutional crisis that created West Virginia seems small now compared to what follows. Coal becomes West Virginia's blessing and curse. Miles of it beneath the mountains, black gold waiting. Outside investors arrive immediately, buying mineral rights for pennies. Company towns replace independent farms. The sons of Union soldiers descend into darkness, mining wealth for distant owners. I'm Thomas Cole, a miner in Fayette County. My grandfather wore Union blue at Antietam. Now I work 16-hour shifts for company wages. When we strike for safer conditions, state militia arrives. We join the Union for this? My grandfather asks bitterly before dying. Political independence without economic independence proves hollow. A state born from resistance to Richmond's control quickly falls under control of Eastern capital. The mountain people traded one master for another. Perhaps that explains why West Virginia's founding always felt incomplete, unfinished. By the 20th century, West Virginia ranks among America's poorest states, despite massive resource wealth extracted. The minerals build cities elsewhere. The profits flow to Wall Street. Union membership, the original cause, seems like bitter irony when corporate power exceeds anything Richmond ever wielded. Historian James Morton Callahan writes in 1913, "West Virginia's tragedy is its gift to America. We gave our resources, our men, our loyalty. What we received in return was statehood, a magnificent prize that couldn't feed our children or properly educate them. The Constitution flexes under pressure. Law serves politics when survival demands it. Principles yield to necessity. West Virginia's creation reveals these truths about America. They're uncomfortable to acknowledge, but they shaped the nation, just as surely as battlefield victories or constitutional amendments. The state exists as a monument to impossible choices made under fire. Lincoln broke constitutional norms to preserve the Union. West Virginians abandoned their historical identity to remain loyal. Neither side could win without compromising. Compromise became not weakness, but the only path forward available. Every state's admission involved calculation, politics, sometimes, constitutional creativity throughout American history. West Virginia's path was just more obvious, carved by war rather than disguised by peacetime procedure. The difference is transparency, not principle. Other states hide their origins better. In Wheeling today, you can visit Independence Hall, where delegates voted for separation. School children tour it, learning about their state's unique origin story. But deeper questions rarely surface in those tours. What did it cost? Who paid the price? What does division's birth truly mean? June 20th, 1863. A state is born. But perhaps that's the wrong way to think about it. Nothing was truly born. Something was severed violently. West Virginia didn't begin. Virginia was split. The difference matters profoundly. Birth implies creation. Severing admits the violence beneath political transformation.
Thank you for your time. Each subscription is a sign of support that I truly appreciate.